Ogun State government rolls out activities to celebrate 45th anniversary. 3.4 trillion naira rice investment in Nigeria under threat by activities of the smugglers. Boko Haram sect kills 2 police officers, abducts others on the first day of visit by new service chiefs to Maiduguri. Donald Trump, his defense lawyers, part ways as U.S. Senate prepares to begin impeachment. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. A very good evening to you and welcome to Ode to the News this hour. I am Idowu Fabadu. We'll begin with President Muhammadu Buhari, who assures Nigerians of full implementation of budget with all transparency and openness, transmitting its target of placing Nigeria on path of sustainable future. Speaking to journalists shortly after revalidating his membership status of the APC in Daura, the President appreciated the National Assembly for the effective and detailed attention to the critical financial document before its passage.
The intention of the administration, the National Assembly has passed it. Now we want to all ministries and departments and agencies to see what is their share in the budget and how do we secure the National Assembly's support so that by the next budget we can tell Nigerians what we received, how we use it according to the budget and the balance. We are very proud of making our balance sheet available to the whole nation. We have nothing to hide.
The federal government forwarded Nigeria's low rating in the 2020 Transparency International Corruption Perception Index, saying it does not truly reflect the great strides by the country in the fight against corruption. The government said, having analyzed the 2020 TICPI rating for Nigeria, it was interrogating a number of issues and discrepancies that have been observed in the rating process, including some data sources in which Nigeria's scores have remained flat over the past 10 years, reflecting no improvement, decline, or fluctuation. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, who said this in a statement in Abuja entitled 2020 TICPI rating not true reflection of Nigeria's anti-corruption agenda. FG, however, assured that the country's anti-corruption agenda, which had placed great emphasis on corruption prevention measures and the building of integrity systems, remains on course. According to him, the implementation of the various reforms, especially in the last ease of doing business, is expected to yield positive outcomes in the country's corruption perception and other relevant assessments in the next 12 to 24 months. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has urged the Senate President, Dr. Ahmad Lawan, and the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, to probe and refer to appropriate anti-corruption agencies' allegations that 4.4 billion of public money budgeted for the National Assembly is missing, misappropriated, diverted, or stealing. Serap alleged that the missing fund was documented in 3 audited reports by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. In an open letter signed by Serap Deputy Director Kehinde Oluwadari, the organization said by exercising strong and effective leadership in the matter, the National Assembly can show Nigerians that the legislative body is a proper and accountability watchdog that represents and protects the public interest and able to hold the government of President Muhammadu Buhari accountable in the management of public resources. Rice processors have cried out their 3.4 trillion investment in rice processing is under threat from smugglers. To save this investment, rice processors are calling on the government to criminalize the sale of foreign rice. Director General of Rice Processors Association of Nigeria, Andy Ekwelem, reached the Salam in Abuja while addressing journalists on the development. Ekwelem lamented that Smuggled foreign rice have flooded Nigerian markets again, thus threatening the continued existence of rice mills in the country. Equalim warned that most local rice mills are going to shut down with attendant job losses as their investments are threatened by the activities of smugglers. According to him, the government tackled the menace of rice smuggling, but border reopening immediately after the EndSARS movement by the federal government has allowed markets to be flooded with foreign rice. However, Equalim said the association is committed to maintaining high-quality standard in rice production. Back to Ogun State now. Activities marking the 45th anniversary of the creation of Ogun State in 1976 will begin on Wednesday, 3rd February 2021. It will be recalled that on February 3rd, 1976, the then head of state, General Murtala Mohammed, announced in a nationwide broadcast the creation of 7 new states to increase the number of states in Nigeria from 12 to 19. Ogun State, one of the 3 states created from the old western state comprising all the 6 states in the present-day southwest Nigeria, is a fusion of the old Abeokuta Egbado and Ijebu Remo divisions of the defunct Egba and Ijebu provinces. A statement in Abeokuta on Sunday by the Honorable State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Abdulwahid Odushile, said the year-long celebration will be low-key due to the precarious public health situation in the country following the resurgence of the COVID-19 pandemic and in line with government-declared protocols on how to combat the dreaded disease. On Wednesday, 3rd February, there will be a state broadcast by His Excellency, the Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun. This will be followed by a virtual colloquium with the theme, Ogun State, the legacy of a great future, the statement said. The lead paper at the event will be presented by the renowned scholar of public administration and retired Federal Permanent Secretary, Professor Tunji Olaokpa. Other programs, including various school competitions and the commissioning of landmark projects of the Governor Abiodun administration, will take place at different times in the course of the year, especially towards the 2nd anniversary of this people-centered administration, Odushile added. Nigerians have been called upon to work together for the sustenance of peace, religious understanding, and respect for human dignity. This was the position of religious leaders who also emphasized that clerics have the capacity to set agenda to achieve the desired mutual respect and social justice for national development. Shemilori Makonju tells us more.
Amidst the political and economic challenges and insecurity in Nigeria, some religious leaders have emphasized the need to arouse the consciousness of Nigerians on national issues. While speaking on their roles as religious leaders, the clerics called on political leaders to renew their commitment to collective prosperity and patriotism.
The role of the spiritual leader in contemporary time is to ensure security, because the church itself should be a place where we build leaders.
The political leaders also has the role to make sure they do what is known as social justice. What we are experiencing today in Nigeria, the insecurity we are experiencing in Nigeria today, the underdevelopment that we are experiencing in Nigeria today, by extension in Africa today, is as a result of injustices that is being displayed by government at every levels.
Ní àkọ́kọ́, ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ olótìtọ́, olódodo ènìyàn tó ń ṣe nǹkan pẹ̀lú òtítọ́, pẹ̀lú òdodo, tó dẹ̀ ń ṣọ́ ìwà wù. Nítorí nínú àwọn ìṣòtítọ́ òdodo tó bá ń ṣe, ló máa fi kọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn láti pé kí wọ́n lè máa ṣe rere.
They also charge clerics to change the narratives from preaching prosperity to teaching the citizenry on their roles and responsibilities in nation building.
It is in the house of God you see messages only about prosperity, and people go out there to look for money at all means. So if we're going to build this nation back, then it has to go back to the message they hear in the church and in the mosque, where they will teach people the way of the Lord, contentment, peace, instead of war.
The religious leaders are there to face the congregation in telling them
what is necessity for the situation of the government, and to even tell the leaders to do the right way according to the books that we have followed. According to the Quran injunction and the Hadith, we should try as much as possible to emulate good.
Ẹni tí ó bá jẹ́ olórí àbádarí nínú ìsìn, ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ẹni tí kò gbọ́dọ̀ máa dalẹ̀ ọmọlàkejì ẹ̀. Tí ó bá sọ̀rọ̀ kan pé báyìí ni ọ̀rọ̀ ṣe rí, a gbọ́dọ̀ máa bá bẹ́ẹ̀.
In the midst of the socio-economic difficulties occasioned by coronavirus and other challenges, they also called on political leaders to fast-track development in all sectors. Shemi Lore, Makonju, OGTV News.
The Redeemed Christian Church of God Celebration House at Digbe, Abeokuta has been officially inaugurated as the Region 32 headquarters, while Overcomers Tabernacle Oluwo Abeokuta becomes Ogun Province 1 headquarters. Performing the consecration on behalf of the General Overseer of the Church, the pastor in charge of RCCG Region 12, Julius Olalekan, admonished the congregations not to deviate from the vision of the mission and let their goals be heavenly guided. Details in this package. The biblical injunction of spreading the gospel to the entire world is being fulfilled as two parishes of the Redeemed Christian Church of God were inaugurated for higher administrative purposes. The epoch-making event had consecrated as Province 1 headquarters, while the former province of headquarters becomes Region 32 headquarters.
I hereby officially pronounce and inaugurate the Redeemed Christian Church of God Overcomers Tabernacle as the new headquarters, provincial headquarters of Ogun Province 1. In the name of God the Father, and God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.
Also, the shepherd in charge of Province 1, Pastor and Pastor Mrs. Abimbola Abiodun, as well as their assistants, were committed into God's hands for a fruitful sojourn in the new province.
What has happened today is a prayer that we've heard over time and time again. But today we have seen the faithfulness of God in answering prayers, irrespective of the time that it has taken one to wait. It only shows that we should be steady with God, have more faith in Him, and be conscious of the fact that God is faithful.
And just after that, the train moved to Celebration House at Digbe for the official welcome and inauguration service in the church as the headquarters of the new Region 32.
I hereby formally inaugurate the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Region 32. In the name of God the Father, in the name of God the Son, in the name of God the Holy Spirit, in Jesus' name.
The pastor of the Region 32, Adigboyega Michael Aduradola, appreciated God for attaining the height and prayed for more grace to lead the sheep aright. The Redeemed Christian Church of God, Region 32, comprises 10 provinces, namely Ogun Province 1, 6, 7, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, and 21. Still on religion, the essence of holding an Islamic religious title is to serve Allah and help in propagating His message to all mankind, which is why whoever is counted worthy of being given a title must see it as an opportunity to serve. Dr. Taufik Amolegbe made this known in a sermon at the turbaning ceremony of Imam Hafiz Adio Bello as Alawiye of Muslims in Egbaland and Imam Idris Oyeyemi as Balogun Olomokeu Musulumi in Egbaland, held at Kobiti Central Mosque, Abeokuta. Matthew Shomi completes the report.
having given their best to the service of Allah and propagation of Islamic religion in Egbaland for over 2 decades. Imam Hafiz Adio Bello and Imam Idris Oyeyemi were then presented by Yasuna of Egbaland, Chief Mrs. Adebisi Ediosere, to Islamic leaders in Egbaland to be honored with the new title of Alawiye of Musulumi in Egbaland and Balogun Olomokeu of Musulumi in Egbaland to continue in their good work. In his sermon at the occasion, Dr. Taufik Amolegbe said the responsibility Allah has given all Muslims is to propagate the message of the Prophet and preach peace to all people, stressing that their new titles mean a call for more service.
We want them to spread the news about Islam and let the people understand the beauty of Islam.
Alake and paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, was represented by the Seriki of Egbaland, Chief Oluwatosin Fadare, and Areba Aroyin of Egbaland, Chief Lai Labode.
It's a call for service. I want to advise them that they should continue doing those good things that were done before the community can recognize them to give them the chieftaincy title.
The Yasuna of Egbaland, Chief Adebisi Ediosere, asked the new chiefs to justify the confidence reposed in them by giving their best.
Bàbá ìlẹ́ni àkọ́kọ́ tó kọ́kọ́ jẹ ìmáàmù gbogbo Ẹ̀gbá ní Bàràkù.
The title being given, the title to serve the people, how it can be able to be useful in the Islamic community.
The new chiefs promised to give their best and continue to offer a service that has counted them worthy of the honor.
A wúlò fún Ẹ̀gbá nígbà tí wọ́n nídìí wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí àfà. So ìyẹn náà ni ìyá mi, ìyá olóríire, ìyá àlùbáríkà, ìyá súnà ni wọ́n rò. Wọ́n pé àfi kí n jẹ́ oyè Balógun Ọlọ́mọkẹ́ gbogbo ìlú Ẹ̀gbá.
That so far I'm very steadfast and upright in my doings. I know that one day Allah will reward me. And mostly my father has been the 17th Imam of Egbaland.
Dignitaries were then entertained by Yasuno at Abeokuta Sports Club. Matthew Showme, OGTV News.
In outer security matters, there is renewed tension in the Ibarapa North local government area of Oyo State following the alleged takeover of 2 villages by some herdsmen. The 2 villages are located in the Ayete local government area of the state. Residents of Ayete said that a Fulani headman, Iskilu Wakil, was asked to leave the villages because he did not buy the land he was occupying. This was said to have infuriated the herders who claimed he was a combatant with arms and ammunition. The Asawo of Ayete, Oba Emmanuel Okeni, said those who have farms in the villages had fled the places over fear they might be attacked by Wakil. A resident of Ayete who spoke on condition of anonymity said that Wakil and his followers barricaded the road leading to the villages, adding that they threatened to shoot dead any villager who moved close to the place. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje has called for the enactment of a law that will abolish the movement of herdsmen from the northern part of the country to other parts. He said until this was done, the incessant herdsmen farmers clashes might continue. Ganduje made his position known after a lunch that state governors elected on the platform of the ruling All Progressives Congress had with the President Muhammadu Buhari in Daura, Katsina State. Ganduje asked the new service chiefs appointed on Tuesday to work with state governors in order to succeed. Suspected armed members of dreaded Boko Haram sect invaded Chabal and other communities of Maigumeri local government area of Borno State on Sunday afternoon and killed 2 policemen before abducting 2 others. The terrorists also in an ambush seized 2 patrol vehicles and set ablaze another one along Maiduguri Chabal Maigumeri 35-kilometer road north of the state capital. Chabal is less than 22-kilometer drive from the Malari Cantonment, 7 Division, Nigerian Army, Maiduguri. This unfortunate incident is coming on the day all the newly appointed service chiefs paid their first on-the-spot assessment of the security situation in Maiduguri. And now to Earth issue, the Nigerian Medical Association NMA has said the COVID-19 Health Protection Regulation 2021 law would help to curb the spread of the pandemic across the country. It could be recalled that President Muhammadu Buhari had signed the COVID-19 Health Protection Regulations 2021 in the exercise of the powers conferred on him by Section 4 of the Quarantine Act 2010. NMA President Professor Innocent Uja said the move by the President is a welcome development as it would help in contributing to the nation's response to curtailing the virus. He, however, urged religious leaders, opinion leaders, and other stakeholders be engaged to ensure effective sensitization and to pass the message across to the people. Uja said the law would also help to reduce the number of people violating the coronavirus protocols in the country. United Arab Emirates UAE has stopped all transit flights with Nigerian passengers into Dubai. This means all passengers from Nigeria must fly directly from Nigeria to Dubai without stopping over in another country. All Nigerians who have visited home in the last 14 days will not be allowed to fly to Dubai through Nairobi, Kenya, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Kigali, Rwanda, amongst other European countries are affected by this new policy issued by the UAE geared towards reducing the spread of COVID-19. This policy is expected to greatly affect competition by African and European airlines on the lucrative Dubai route. The travel advisory also explains that all departing Nigerians to Dubai are required to obtain a negative COVID-19 certificate, and the PCR must be conducted within 72 hours of the date of departure. Thousands of Russians have been taking part in unauthorized protests to demand the release of the jailed opposition leader, Alexei Navalny. More than 3,000 people have been detained, a monitoring group says. In Moscow, police closed metro stations and blocked off the city center. Mr. Navalny was jailed on his return to Russia after recovering from an attempt to kill him with a nerve agency. The opposition figure had only just arrived from Berlin, where he spent months recovering from the near-fatal incident. Still on the foreign scene, former U.S. President Donald Trump abruptly parted ways with lawyers working on his defense for a Senate impeachment trial, throwing the former president's legal strategy into disarray. Both Bowers and Deborah Barberi, two South Carolinian, and Joe Gaza and Craig Harris of South Carolina also split with Trump. The shakeup leaves Trump's defense team in turmoil as he prepares for a trial starting on February 9 to consider an article of impeachment passed by the House of Representatives, charging Trump with inciting to January 6 storming of the U.S. Capitol by his followers. And now into the world of sports. Chelsea claimed their first win under new coach Thomas Tuchel after the former Paris Saint-Germain boss was brought to replace Frank Lampard last week. Cesar Azpilicueta scored the first goal before Marcos Alonso produced a stunning finish as Chelsea earned a 2-0 win against toothless Burnley on Sunday. Tuchel endured a frustrating goalless stalemate against Wolves at Stamford Bridge in midweek. Burnley also promised to be awkward opponents before fading as the match wore on. Thomas Tuchel's team dominated the encounter, limiting Burnley to a single attempt on goal, but struggled to break them down. And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for Monday. And to wrap up the news this hour, peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. And don't forget, you can follow us on our social media platforms for more news and update. We are on Apple, Roku, Facebook, and Android devices. You can also watch us live on our website, www.ogtv.com.ng/live. That's it on OGTV News this hour. A very big thank you to you for staying with us. I am Ido Fabaju. Do have a wonderful night rest. Bye.
My name is Fatima Yusuf, a polio vaccinator working in Lagos. The challenge we face is mainly misunderstanding. Some say because the children receive